Alright, I know like my hair is wet, the room looks weird, got like AIDS on my face, but whatever, don't really care. This is a video, and this is a video for you. So if you guys are new, I'm Sam. I make mountain bike videos, BMX, I guess, maybe, not really. I've ridden with like a BMX rider like once, but I do, maybe, I don't know, hint hint, there might be BMX videos, who knows. I build jumps, so I guess I could pretend to be BMX riders. And I do all kinds of bike related things because I love being outside and I love bike. As you see in the title, today I'm doing actually something pretty exciting to me. I love talking about this kind of thing. I'm going to help you guys make the most informed decision on buying a bicycle online, whether it's a BMX bike or a mountain bike. I'll do two different things, but things will carry over in a sense, but sometimes I won't. They have left-hand drive mountain bikes. I guess we can just get started. I'm going to be using my phone and like screen recording, which the quality might be a little funky, but I think it's the most relatable. Almost everyone has some sort of phone, and I think the majority have iPhones. So I'm going to use my iPhone in Safari just to kind of like show you guys navigating websites if that is something you have trouble with. The main focus here is going to allow you to go and find a bike that's perfect for you, not perfect for me. Alright, so the perfect bike for me is going to be different than the perfect bike for, let's say, Connor. So there's always that personalness to it. Let's start with the mountain bikes first. Lots of people focus on the spec. So what I mean by spec is the parts that are on the frame. Now, that is really important. So like you don't want to buy a mountain bike where you get really like really good frame and then you have just total garbage parts. Like what I mean by garbage parts is having like one of the silver stanchion Suntours on like a carbon frame. Wouldn't make sense, but you know what I mean by that, the spec. And some other people focus more on having a good frame quality. Some people want carbon. I personally kind of don't like carbon, and I'd prefer just to have an aluminum or steel bike. Now, the quality of that aluminum or the quality of that steel, I'll focus more on aluminum, let's say. The quality of aluminum matters. It matters on how heavy your bike is, how strong your bike is, and how like dent resistant your bike is. I have to say, I think the best way to find a good bike is your spec to frame ratio. Now, some people, like I've said, have focused on one side or the other, or they just have insane on both ends. But I think for somebody that's looking to buy a new complete mountain bike, it's something that you really have to pay attention to. And in most cases, there's not the perfect bike. So I'm here on JensenUSA.com in their Jensen USA builds. Now, they don't really do these anymore, but honestly, the price to what you get is insane. That's where I bought my bike, and I think my bike, it said MSRP was like $5,300, but I got it for I think $26. Now, whoever wondered, that was how much I got it for. Or 25, whatever. Either way, they still have these bikes. They might not have sizes because they're older, but still, you get the idea. So I've noticed that Jensen has a really good price to spec ratio. Now, let's see. Alright, so I just found a $3,000 carbon trail bike. It's a Niner. I know Niners are pretty good. And I actually have never looked at this spec specifically. So we'll go through together, and based on, I hope, everything that, what's it called, Jensen has listed, I can kind of help elaborate upon. So first of all, it's a 2017 frame, yet again. Getting a $3,000 carbon 29er, I think that's pretty good. And at 2017, don't worry about the year too much. Bikes don't change that bike. Whatever bike you have is probably good. I would say sometimes suspension platforms change, and that might make them better or worse. Like Banshee just came out with their new, I think it's like their KS3 or whatever. It's a new version of whatever their linkage is. So this bike, first of all, it comes with DVO suspension. So I don't really know too much about DVO, but that seems like a DVO is a pretty good brand, I've got to say. I've seen a lot of people riding them. Rear shock is RockShox. RockShox you can never go wrong with. Easy to service. It's a Monarch RC3. I think it's similar to the shock that's on my bike. My bike, it's alright. Coming from mine. Mine's I think maybe the little bit nicer one with the more adjustment. I don't really know. Maybe it's just an air suspension thing, but I notice it loses quite a bit of, I guess, air in a pretty quick amount of time, which is kind of annoying. Other than that, it rides fine. Not too picky about stuff like that. NX Eagle shifter with a GX rear mech. Can't even speak. GX rear mech. The NX shifter just kind of is a weighted lower cost. I'd say shifter doesn't matter. Neither does derailleur really. Something you just bend. Maybe some people are like, oh, I need a new axis. I've ridden the new axis, it's cool, but it feels like my GX, I'm just pushing a button, I guess. GX cranks, they're aluminum. I don't think they're the ones with the titanium, spindle, there we go. I don't think they're the ones with the titanium spindle. I don't think they make those anymore. I'm pretty sure mine doesn't have that. But I think if you're not a big dude, I think you'll be alright with aluminum cranks. Just make sure they're good. This is a Specialized crank, and I had on my hardtail, and if you can see, it's kind of hard to because there's a bunch of grease in there, but it's rounded out. You want something different from this crank. I really don't know what this kind of is called compared to the other, but I just know this bad GX SRAM parts are good. So try to stick with SRAM or I guess E13 or stuff like that. It has a SRAM bottom bracket. It doesn't specify. You might want to look into a bike with a threaded bottom bracket rather than a press fit. I gotta say, my Spitfire has a threaded bottom bracket, and I have had no problems. I might have had a little bit of dirt one time, and it was a little crunchy, but it's all good now. Spins great. No problems. It's just it's either a Race Face or a SRAM one. Perfectly good. But make sure to watch out for that. Press fits are alright. They're probably cheaper to replace, but I think you'll notice that you'll replace it a lot more. The chain is just a SRAM chain, Jeagle chain. Might be what I have, I don't know. Cassette is an XG. This is a 12-speed? Yeah, it's a 12-speed. I don't know what that cassette is. I think it's 10 to 52, so it works. Brakes are Shimano BRM 8000s. I don't really know what that is. I don't think they're XT or SLXs. They might be a little bit lower than that or better. I don't really know. That is something to watch out for. If you do find yourself in a lot of big mountain situations, you might want a 4-piston brake with more power. Or if you just are a trail rider, you ride jumps and stuff, you might be fine with like 2-piston SLXs. Brakes are expensive, so make sure to make that choice when you look into it, because a good set of brakes, it's like, sometimes I guess I could see it as either or. You have like a Jeagle and kind of like crappy brakes, or like a 10-speed or 11-speed with like nicer brakes. Most of the time, brakes are brakes. They work. I've had great experiences with SLXs. No problems. I probably need to bleed them. I probably need new pads, but I've been kind of riding my bike really, really hard. I ride it in horrible situations, and I really don't maintain it. So I gotta say, out of all the things, the brakes have been treating me really well. Alright, so a big thing for me, wheel sets. You want a good set of strong wheels, and I know DT makes really, really, really good wheels, but I know their cheaper hubs kind of suck, which, I'm sorry, DT, because I run their spokes on my new build. But, yeah, I've heard their new hubs kind of suck. I had a Race Face complete wheel, but I broke it. It wasn't the wheel's fault, really. I think it was a pretty strong wheel, and I think if it was in a trail scenario, it would have been fine, but I was riding at a skate park, so I caught the edge, and I dented in my wheel and cracked it, and it wouldn't hold tubeless, so I had to put a tube in, but then the tube wouldn't hold, so I might have broken it more. Who knows? Tires. Kenda tires, I've never ran them, but I think they're pretty good. I've heard a lot behind them. Tires burn through pretty quick, so don't worry about what tires come on your bike. Get something that fits your riding style. Don't get something too aggressive if you only ride jumps. You know what I mean? The handlebars, Spank-Uzi 780s, 15 mil rise. Personally, I like high rise. My bars right now are 35 millimeter rise. On my Spitfire, they're race face Atlases. They're cut down to 780, maybe 785 or something. And I gotta say, 780 is a pretty good sweet spot for somebody around my height, maybe a little taller, maybe a little shorter. Grips don't matter, they're lock-ons, that works. Seat post, droppers are the greatest thing in the world, except I don't like going uphill, so I never really use it, but I love having a dropper seat post for like crank flips and pinching my knees on my seat. That way I can then get it out of the way, so it's like having best of every single world. And there's no weight, so yeah. And geometry, you can get into that as much as you want to, but the only time I found myself getting into geometry was when I test rode one bike, and then I wanted to see how it would feel compared to my Spitfire before I ordered it. I'm gonna transition into BMX mode, and I've got I guess it's similar but different, so that's why I'm doing two different things. Let's go BMX mode. I've got a lot to talk about BMX now. I've kind of been in BMX mode lately, so this video might be long. So now is the moment a lot of people might have been coming to this video for, and this is how to buy a complete BMX bike online. So with BMX bikes, there's a lot to look for. Many people go just to Walmart and buy their kid like a Huffy, or I don't even know what the newest things are, but I could send you so many links to so many videos of people riding these Walmart BMX bikes and then literally snapping in half within a day. Now, granted, these people are pros, but if your kid starts to learn tricks, that could happen too. So if this is a parent watching a video, don't go to Walmart. You can find a bike on sale and get them so much more joy. With a complete BMX, there's lots of places you can buy them. Maybe even more places you can buy complete BMX than mountain bike, but that might just be me. I don't know. First of all, if you have a local shop, go to that local shop and try to support them. But I also totally understand what happens when you go to a local shop. Like, if you get pushed into buying a bike from a local shop, it might not be the best bike to buy, I guess. So really just get the bike that you think is cool. Pick a color, pick a size, all that kind of thing. Whatever top tube you want, whatever spec, whatever brand you like. Support that. But this is how you would be able to find your specific best bike for the money. If you're trying to be kind of frugal, here I'll help you make your best choice. So I'm going to start on this place called SC Cycles. It's Scotty Kramer's bike shop, but it's also online. And I like something like this because you can see what it actually supports. It supports Scotty and it supports Scotty's family. And I always like seeing stuff like that. It's out of New Jersey, I'm pretty sure. So that's pretty rad. You can go on a website like this and you can specify like what size BMX you want. You can even do custom builds on here, but I wouldn't recommend that for a beginner. So what we will do is I'm starting it at the highest price and we can move down. So for a complete BMX, I would say to get your best like bang for your buck, around $500 gets you a super solid bike where the frame is really good and all the components are really good. Then you're also getting into aftermarket territory with parts like from Odyssey on maybe if you have a Sunday, or yeah, just like aftermarket parts. So what I would recommend is go and look at a bike maybe a little bit outside of your price range, and then look at a bike inside your price range. So this bike is from Fit. I'll look at that one later because we'll go and look at some fits in a little bit. Let's do this Sabrosa. Not every bike is created equal. Obviously, some brands have more costs to deal with, and some people are okay with that. But for the sake of the video, we will look at the spec for what it is, and I'll try to not have a bias. No, there's no spec. Alright, I'm sorry. I probably could go look at that at Shadow if somebody's interested. But alright, so this is a Sunday Forecaster. I actually was looking at one of these. These bikes are really, really, really good. They are like the mid-range to upper range of Sunday's things. So like they have the Soundwave, and then they have the Street Sweeper, and then they have one more, and then they have the Soundwave, I'm pretty sure. And all of Sunday's frames are really, really good, and I could explain why I actually wouldn't want to look into it anymore. Okay, so here's the spec, is the top tube length. So with mountain bikes, they go like small, medium, large, and there's geometry things that specify what makes your bike that big. But with BMX, it's a little different. They basically work off of wheel size, which mountain bikes also do. Wheel size and top tube length. So this frame has a 21-inch top tube. I'm gonna try to like interpret this for you. I just know it's chromoly, which is good. You want chromoly. Find a bike with most chromoly. I'll talk about that as I go through this. The fork is a Sunday fork, which is, they're pretty good. It's 2-piece, which I've heard good things and bad things about 2-piece forks. So take it as you see it, I guess. Handlebars are Sunday. So like I've said, at this level, you do have a lot of in-house parts still, but you're starting to get some of those parts, and you guys will see what I'm talking about when we get a little bit farther through the list, which I already know the spec of this bike, but you know what I mean. Doesn't matter. The brakes are Odyssey brakes, which is pretty rad. This frame has removable brake hardware, and I know some frames don't, like kink frames, I don't. But if you don't run brakes like most people, I don't really know what the majority is anymore, but if you don't run brakes and you take them off, you have the ugly hardware, which a lot of people are kind of bugged about. Brock Rayford grips are actually really good, I've heard. Pivotal seat, and pivotal is really cool, really adjustable. The sprocket is a steel sprocket, 25 tooth. That's pretty standard, I guess. 3-piece chromoly cranks at 170 mil. Now, cranks are kind of a personal thing, but I'd say 170 is pretty standard and works quite well for a bike right out of the box. So you could either get longer cranks or shorter cranks, depending on how you feel. It's got a sealed bottom bracket. That's huge. And we'll continue with the whole sealed thing. The pedals are Odyssey Twisted PC Pros. Lots of people run those. Rims are Sundays, but they're 36 hole, 20-inch. Front hub is sealed, rad. And the rear wheel, this is what a lot of people are stoked on about this bike, comes with an Odyssey Clutch V2 free coaster. So that's like a really good free coaster. I know Grayson Roberts runs it on his like $1,500 BMX, so that kind of shows how good that at least the rear hub is. So it's a really good free coaster. And then it's got like Odyssey tires and a KMC chain, so that's pretty rad. So let me kind of sum that up for you. In a bike, you want as much chromoly as possible. The best thing to look for is chromoly frame, completely chromoly frame, and chromoly forks, and chromoly bars, as well as like cranks, and just as much chromoly as you can find is good. That would be high-10 steel. High-10 steel is cheaper, and so that's on a lot more budget bikes. What a lot of companies do, like even Colt and Fit do this, is they will have they call it, I've heard We The People call it tri-moly, where they're the front, here, I'll explain with a frame. Alright, so on those tri-moly bikes, this is chromoly, this is chromoly, I'm pretty sure this is chromoly, tri-moly. And then in the back is high-10 steel, and that just allows for a cheaper build. And yeah, but I've heard also some horror stories about that, where there's weaknesses between the welds because you're welding two different metals together. At least try to get a chromoly frame, and then the rest of the parts you could upgrade in the future. But I'll continue with that. Also, sealed. You want sealed bearings. A full sealed bike is going to be a happy bike, so look for a bike that has sealed bottom bracket, a sealed hubs, and like quality bearings, I guess. With wheel sets, it didn't really say in whether that had single wall or double wall rims, but something I personally would look for in a BMX bike is at least a double wall in the rear and a single wall in the front. Coming from somebody that's broken a wheel, not catastrophic wheel failure, but I'm kind of maybe a little bit touchy about my wheels now, and that's something I really, really look for. So now I'll go and show you guys. They're still really, really nice bikes, but I'll show you some of the Tri-Molle options. Specifically, I'll show you some fit stuff, and then maybe I'll talk about parts. So if you want to skip around, maybe I'll put a list. Wait, what the heck is that? No way. Harry. Harry, what did you do? No. Whoever did that is fired, I gotta say. If you pulled up Mafia bikes on my phone, you're fired. We'll go to Fit Bike Co. Now, I might be a little biased because I really like Fit, but also I really like Sunday, so I think Mafia bikes broke my phone. Oh, by the way, do you guys like my hippie shirt, man? My sister gave it to me. It's pretty rad. Alright, so we're gonna look at the STR. Now, I actually haven't looked at this bike before, but it looks pretty rad, right? You get 4 pegs and brakes, chrome bars. Pretty sure they're 4-piece. You get 4-piece bars, stickery tires, chrome hubs, right-hand drive, which is cool. It looks like the seat you hurt yourself on. Maybe it's, I don't really know much about it. Might be like a classic geometry design, but oh, I guess so. I guess it's a street design. Frame it's the Tri-Molle setup, I think, again with the Chromolle top tube and down tube. Has a Chromolle steer tube, like I said, the Tri-Molle. Like I'd explained earlier, the fork has a 25mm offset, so it's about 1 inch, I think. Maybe I'm stupid. The handlebar are 4-piece fit. I don't know if those are forged. It says forged on like between the two, so I don't know. Their spec sheets are kind of messed up on some of these fit things. 4-piece bars, which are cool, but they're heavy. And I don't know, I don't mind the look of them. Vegan, and not all people want to look like Brendan Vegan. Cranks are Chromolle, which is cool, 165, right-hand drive, that's rad. Wellgo nylons, man, those things are China special, I think. Front hub, unsealed. Like I've said, unsealed isn't the best. With a BMX bike, a lot of people you just want to ride your bike. You don't have to worry about if it's raining or if you're gonna get dirt in the bearings. So now we will go look at a bike similar to it. It was a bike I mentioned earlier, the Corriere with the Free Coaster. We know it's a hot bike, hot red, and this one's on sale. So this show is a good example of you can get a really, really, really good bike for $480. It's normally a $540 bike. And it shows. So let's go and look through. And there's a video on him putting one of these together from a few years back in Fit. I will link this actually down below, as well as a few other Fit videos. So it's Ethan's frame. It's 100% Chromolle with a 20.5 top tube. So it's good for maybe if you're a little bit shorter. Fork is inch offset. 2-piece Chromolle bars, 30 wide. Those are pretty wide, but I don't know, you can always cut bars. Bars are cuttable. Like I've said, it's a forged top load stem. Stems are good. Top load, seeing it complete with a top load is pretty rad. Grips, like I've said before, nobody cares. Seat is a Fit Barstool Pivotal, and if I'm correct, that is an aftermarket seat from Fit. That's actually the first bike I think we've looked at with an aftermarket seat. I mean, I think it's pretty padded. It's just a nice seat. So that's definitely a plus, because seats are expensive. Alright, cranks are Fit, they're aftermarket, Chromolle, 165mm for the short boys. Honestly, 165 isn't that short. Sprocket is a pretty rad one. Fit Mac PC pedals, those are aftermarket. Those are really good pedals. I think they come with reflectors on them, but you can just knock them off. Pegs, 4 with sleeves. Sleeve pegs are expensive. It's like $40 for 4, so think about that. Wheels, fully sealed, with a single wall in the front. And like I've said, I don't think you're really going to break a front wheel that easily. Free coaster with a 14mm axle, obviously, and their double wall rear, so that's pretty cool. I think it's a nicer rim in the front, like a nicer single wall, and then the rear is just like an OEM double wall. Literally everything that could be Chromolle is Chromolle. Aftermarket parts and 4 sleeve pegs for 28 pounds. That's pretty standard, honestly. Say something like this bike is good for almost anybody. Whether you're just beginning, I would say it might be a little overkill with the free coaster and everything. But if you're looking for your best bang for a buck, something like this would be really good. I'm not sponsored by Fit or SC or Sunday or Odyssey or Shadow, but I kind of like to support all of them. So yeah, I didn't really show any of these other tabs with Merit, which I can recommend their Merit parts. Odyssey parts, most of them actually have lifetime warranties, so you definitely will see, if I do get a bike, a lot of Odyssey parts on there. Shadow, their parts are really good. They support a lot of really cool riders like Big Boy and Trey Jones and Jabe Jones and a lot of people, and their stuff is really good and it's not crazy overpriced, so definitely go support Shadow. And of course Sunday with Mr. Forsman. They don't sponsor him, but it's pretty rad. But I gotta say, a bike like this is something you need to look for. I'm not necessarily saying you can only look at these brands I look at. Look around. Definitely Kink has stuff, Colt has stuff, but and there's plenty of other brands that have really good bikes, but these are my choices coming from what I like. But in the end, if you have a bike, just ride it. Don't make too big of a deal about it. Nobody cares if you have right-hand drive or left-hand drive, if you have pegs and no pegs, if you have brakes, no brakes. Nobody cares. As long as you just ride your bike and you're chill, that's good for you. So I really hope that video wasn't crazy long. That's what it kind of takes to kind of walk somebody through purchasing a bicycle online. For the record, all of these places you can order direct from. And yeah, it's pretty rad. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. I also want to know what you thought of the video, because I care. I try to take time out of my day to work on videos. And yeah, so I hope you guys had a great day. It's snow day here, so I wouldn't want to spend it any other way. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and go check out some of my other ones. I work really hard trying to put out fun content for people. Peace.